Hello guys, this video is dedicated to people who already know Hangul, how to read Korean. If you don't know how to read Korean, then I will leave all links in the description box below. And in today's video, we're gonna learn Korean reading rules. I've divided this series of videos into two parts. This is the first part. There's really a lot of information, so let's get started. So Korean syllables are written in 6 different blocks, or you can call them squares. So in one square, there can be only not more than 4 letters. Let's look at the first square. Here, C stands for consonant. The number 1 stands the number of the position of this letter. V stands for vowel, and the number 2 stands, it means that vowel stands in the second position after consonant. So let's look at an example. The word ka, it means go. So here, as you can see, k is consonant and it stands the first letter is k. A is a vowel and it's the second letter. So that's pretty simple. Let's look at the second block. Here you can see on top I put C1 and on the bottom is V2. The example of this block can be mu. It means reddish. The third block, as you can see here, C1 is put into a small square and D2 has a bigger space. D stands for diphthong. So the example of this square can be the word 봐, means look. So all of these 3 blocks, they had only 2 letters in them. But now let's look at some blocks that have more than 2 letters. Let's look at the fourth block. Here you can see on the left is C1, on the right is V2, and on the bottom I wrote C3. So it means third consonant. Third consonant is called in Korean 받침. You better memorize this word, 받침. Do you see I put a small C4 in brackets? C4 is called double 받침, but we will learn double 받침 in the second part. So now let's look at some examples. 책 means book. 닭 means chicken. Let's look at the fifth block. On the top you can see C1, below it you can see V2, and below it you can see C3, and in brackets C4. The example of this block can be the word 중, which means middle, and 흙, which means soil. So now let's look at the last block. Here you can see in the small square put C1, then D2, and below all of this mass is C3. The example of it can be a word won, which means won, South Korean currency. So as you can see, all 6 blocks, they begin with only consonant. So in Korean, a word cannot begin with vowel, only with consonant. So now let's look at how to read these consonants. 부, chu, tu, ku. Every Korean consonant has its own name or title, but I'm not gonna provide these titles in this video because then your head is gonna just explode because there's gonna be really a lot of information. Instead of that, I will just say these letters by the first letter that I've provided in the video how to read consonants. So now let's look how to read these 4 consonants at the beginning of a word. At the beginning of a word, they are voiceless. Voiceless sounds are pu, chu, tu, ku. For example, be, rain, cha, sleep, to, more, ke, dog. Now let's look how to pronounce these 4 consonants between 2 vowels. Between 2 vowels, they are voiced. Voiced sounds are b, j, d, g. For example, 입어, wear, 자주, often, 바다, sea, 고기, meat. Now let's look at how to pronounce pu, chu, tu, ku in 받침. I'll remind you again, pachim is the third consonant. B and P are silent P. There are also other silent consonants, for example, like T or K. So now I will tell you how to make that silent P. Silent P is almost not heard. For example, try to say a consonant P. When you say P, you're breathing out. But when you say silent P, you do not have to breathe out. You just have to close your mouth and keep it in that position. For example, the word for rice is pop. I do not say it as pop. Also, it's not like pa. You have to close your mouth and keep in that position at the end of the word. Pop. Next word is 깊다, to be deep. But don't forget, if after a pachim there is vowel, then you have to pronounce them as I told you in the previous slide. For example, 밥이 깊이. Ch and ch are silent too. The word for daytime or day is 낮. Flower is 꽃. But pay attention, if after these consonants is going to be a vowel, then these words are going to be pronounced as 낮이, 꽃이. T and T are also silent too. For example, 받다, to receive, or 끝, end. But if there is a vowel after them, then they're going to be pronounced as 바다 끝에서. 그, 크, and 그 are silent k. For example, 100, 100. 부엌, kitchen. 밖, outside. But if there is a vowel after them, then they're going to be pronounced as 백이 부엌에서 밖에. Do you wonder why there is no pu, chu, tu? I'm going to tell you why. Because pu, chu, tu are never placed in pachim. Hooray! Now let's look how to read s. So vowels are divided into two parts. There are iotized vowels and non-iotized. First, let's look at iotized vowels. Iotized vowels are ya, yo, yu, ye, we, we, and also e. So s plus iotized vowel is going to be pronounced as slight sh. For example, shower, shower, 싫어, dislike, 쉬, we, shopping, shopping. Now let's look at some Korean products. Can you spot a s plus iotized vowel word here? Here it is. It's pronounced as shampoo. Can you guess what it means? It's shampoo. What about here? This word is pronounced as conditioner, and it means conditioner for hair. Now let's look at non-iotized vowels. It's the rest of vowels. So s plus non-iotized vowel is gonna be just simply s. For example, 새, bird, 버스, bus, 선물, present. Now let's look at how to pronounce s in pachim. S and s are gonna be silent too. For example, 꽃, thin, 옷, clothes, 웃다, to laugh, 있다, to have, to be, at, in. But if there is a vowel after them, then they're going to be pronounced as 곳이, 웃을, 웃음, 있어. Now let's look at how to pronounce k, t, ch, p. If they stand at the beginning of a word or between two vowels, they are pronounced as they are. For example, 코, nose, 케이크, it's cake, 군, bin, 컬레, pair of shoes. It's a counter, and we're gonna learn about counters in our grammar videos, so subscribe and stay tuned. 부터, from, 타다, to ride. 차, tea or car. 차림새, outfit. 파도, wave. 포도, grape. 피, blood. So how do you pronounce 우, 추, 뚜, 그, 수? If they stand at the beginning of a word or between two vowels, they are pronounced as they are. 뽀뽀, kiss. 차다, to be salty. 타다, to pick. 꼬리, tail. 코끼리, elephant. 쓰다, to ride, use, or wear a hat. 쓰레기, garbage. 씻다, to wash. So how do you pronounce mu, mu, m, ru? These four consonants are called sonorant. The sonorant consonants are those consonants with which you can kind of like sing a song. For example, something like that. These consonants are not like tu or du or ku. You cannot sing song with ku, right? So mu is going to be pronounced as mu. For example, oma, mom, pam, night. N is going to be pronounced as n. Oni, older sister for females. Nal, day. N has two ways of pronunciation. No sound and n. So no sound is when this letter stands at the beginning of a word and between two vowels. And n is in 받침. For example, 우이, cucumber, pan, bread. R has two ways of pronunciation. It's r and l. R we pronounce when this letter stands at the beginning and between two vowels. And l we pronounce when this letter stands in 받침 and before one more r. For example, radio, radio, 우리, we. 별, star, 빨리, fast. So how to pronounce hu? Hu has two ways of pronunciation. At the beginning of a word and between two vowels is pronounced as hu. For example, Hangul, South Korea. Hana, 1. Ahub, 9. But in 받침, this letter is pronounced as silent t or just simply silent. For example, hiet. Hiet, it's the name of hu letter. 좋아해, like. As you can see, the last he, we pronounce hu here. But when after 초, then in 받침, this hu is not pronounced, just silent. But with an example where it's the name of hu letter, hiet, he, we pronounce hu here, but ut, here we pronounce this hu as silent too. In 받침, hu is read as silent too. So now let's look when hu stands in 받침 and the beginning of the next syllable is su. Hu is going to be pronounced as tu and su is going to be pronounced as su. For example, 따수리, consonant. But in most cases, you can just ignore that hu or tu sound and just say simply 따수리. Now let's look at some aspirated consonants. Aspirated consonants are those consonants that have a slight sound of hu after them. So if the first letter in 받침 is pu, chu, tu, ku, su, and at the beginning of the next syllable stands hu, these pu, chu, tu, ku, su are going to be aspirated. For example, pu plus hu is going to be pronounced as pu. For example, 복잡해, complicated. chu plus hu is going to be pronounced as ch, 맺히다, to form, gather. tu plus hu is going to be pronounced as tu, 맏형, eldest brother. ku plus hu is going to be pronounced as ku, 백화점, department store. su plus hu is going to be pronounced as tu. For example, 따뜻하다, to be warm. So if in 받침 there are letters such as n, and L. In this case, R is going to be pronounced as L. And at the beginning of a syllable, there are going to be letters such as P, Ch, T, K. They are going to be voiced letters. P, Ch, T, K are going to be voiced. So technically, they will be pronounced as B, J, D, G. For example, 일본, Japan, bibimbap, bibimbap. And now let's look at this word closer, bibimbap. Remember I told you to not depend on romanization? Do you remember I told you at the beginning of this video that P at the beginning of a word is read as P? But why English version of this word begins with B instead of P? You know, I have no idea. But the word is pronounced as bibimbap. It is not bibimbap. But on English websites, you will never find this word written romanized as bibimbap. Only bibimbap. So that's why I tell you never depend on romanization. You have to know how Korean letters work. So let's move on. 언제, when. 안 돼요, it doesn't work. Hangul, South Korea. So when in Pachim there are letters M, N, and R. In this case, this R is going to be pronounced as R. And at the beginning of a syllable there is H. So H almost is not heard or even silent. For example, 경험하다, to experience. 미안하다, to be sorry. 사랑하다, to love. 결혼하다, to get married. So, for example, instead of 결혼하다, we say just 결혼하다. We just eliminate all of these who sounds like they never existed there. So even Pachim, there are letters such as M, N, L. In this case, R is going to be pronounced as L. And at the beginning of a syllable, there are letters K, T, Ch, P. So these K, T, Ch, P are gonna say without any changes. For example, 단군, peanut. 질투하다, to be jealous. 김치, kimchi. 슬프다, to be sad. I know you're so tired. I know you hate Korean so much. And you already want to give up learning Korean, but I promise this is the last slide. Please do not give up. So if in Pachim there are letters P, Ch, T, K, S, they're gonna be read like in Pachim. And there are three variants of these letters. It's P, T, K. And if after these all letters at the beginning of a syllable, they're gonna be P, Ch, T, K, S, they're gonna double. P, Ch, T, K, S. For example, 안녕히 계십시오. Goodbye formally to person staying. 갔다, to have, take. 구청, directly. 책방, bookstore. And now, are you ready for some quiz time? I show you a word and you try to pronounce it. 배, beer, boat, stomach. 악어, crocodile. 예쁘다, to be pretty. 호주, Australia. 씨, seed. 케이크, cake. 포도, grape. 밥, rice. 답답하다, to be annoying. 정답, correct answer. 감동하다, to be impressed, to impress. 책방, bookstore. That's it for this video, but it's not it for Korean series of videos, Korean written rules. So subscribe to not miss out the second part and other videos about Korean. Click on the bell so that you would not miss out any of my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up, because every single like you give me, it gives me more motivation and inspiration to work harder and harder for you. And you can always leave some questions in the comment section below, because I really love to answer your question, guys. Thank you for watching. 안녕!